Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Trajan, and we're talking about Cursed Comics Cavalcade number 1, the 80-page giant. This is from around Halloween 2018, and let me tell you something, DC still has it. They can still put out quality content. It's why I'm really happy that Dan Didio recently said they're going to scale back the amount of comics they do, because I think if they really just focus on maybe 30 to 40 books. I think they're up to 70 now. If they really focus on 30 to 40 books, they're going to do fantastic. And these anthologies in particular are really good. I really wish they did more. I know they did like a Valentine's Day issue, which I have. They're fantastic. This is $9.99 retail. You can usually get this for about $7 to $8. I've seen it for down to 5. So, but it's really just good. We have, I think, 10 different stories. Each story's around 8 pages. Yeah, we have 10, and we have the listing there. But it just really goes to show every story is actually good, even though there is one bad one. And I think just based on the writer, you can guess which it is and why it's bad. But everyone else, they really get the characters. These are great kind of fill-in issues. It's fantastic for just giving other like different artists and different writers different takes on certain characters. And for the most part, with one exception, they all do a pretty good job. Even I think the weakest one is the Superman one, but there's another one, Zatanna, and I didn't really like it that much. It was kind of cheesy, but you get it, and when the end hits, you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's a good way to it's a good way to end this because some of them are really dark, some of them are really gritty, and as you get close, especially the beginning, the first couple of kind of episodes are just really like downers. And if you, I didn't do a review on it, but not Avengers, Marvel did a Halloween special, which I thought was also very good. But every single kind of episode in this was just so down. It was such a downer. To the point where you're reading it and you know what's going to happen just because you know either everybody's going to die, this takes place in an alternate universe, or just bad stuff's happening. So in this, they start off really bad, and as it gets closer to the end, they start ending on kind of upbeats, which is done on purpose, and I get it. And I actually did kind of enjoy it. You walk away, you read this in one sitting, you walk away from it happy that you read it. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go story by story. The art ranges from the art for the most part is extremely good, and it ranges from really good to really just cartoony. The Guy Gardner one is the worst. Is I think the worst art, but it reminded me a lot of Invader Zim. I'm not sure if the artist worked on Invader Zim. I have a suspicion they may have done some fill-in issues for Invader Zim, but it really reminded me of the Invader Zim art style. And still, once you get used to it, after the third page, it's fine, and it really works with that story in particular. So I'm gonna go through each one. I'm just gonna briefly talk about it. So we have Swamp Thing, written by Tim Seeley. This was one of the weaker ones. The story was very convoluted. It was an example. It was one of the two examples here of where they told instead of showed. The art was who was the artist? I want to give him credit. The art was Kyle Holtz, and the art was actually really good. They really got the grittiness of the green down and kind of the corruption that can occur. It was really really well done. You can actually see the art here. So he did a pretty good job. But that story in particular was it was definitely one of the more down ones. It's Swamp Thing just doing Swamp Thing's thing, where he's protecting the green and thereby protecting the world, and it just shows his very black and white morality towards it. So the next one was Batman in Gorehound. The art in that was beautiful. It was actually really good, and they really did a great job at the aesthetic. They wanted to try to capture the horror movie feel. They did a fantastic job at it. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but they do. It reminded me a lot of what's that movie? Not I Know What You Did Last Summer. Is it not Friday the 13th? The other one, the meta one, the one that's really Scream. It really reminded me of Scream, and I think they did a really good job at it. It subverts what you think, and by the end of it, you're like, oh, I see what you did there, and it was a good story. It was a very well done story. I appreciated it. So, and of course, it's great seeing Batman. It's great seeing Batman actually well done. Then we had Wonder Woman in Siren Song. Vita Alea wrote this. It's a siren story. So you have this beautiful singing siren that's obviously like bringing sailors to death. This one was one of the weaker ones. It was fine. The artist did a very good job at portraying the Siren and at portraying Wonder Woman. It got a little bit lost in the weeds near like pages 6 and 7 near the denouement, and then it leaves in an ending that you're just like, ah, okay, I get it, yeah. So that was one of the weaker ones. But the Guy Gardner one was actually really interesting. It's a very introspective look at Guy Gardner. It was way deeper than I thought it was going to be. It's talking about the duty of honor and really just about duty in general, about doing what you have to do, like being a Green Lantern and always being on call. And by the end of it, you see that Guy Gardner has this moment of kind of melancholy where he's like, I'm happy to do my duty, but maybe this other guy was right. Maybe my enemy was right when he was talking about how the core just drains you of just like life and will, you know. Very interesting. I was shocked that it was that good. It was really deep. The next one is is his name Jason Blood? I forgot. Jason Blood, the demon in Yellow Jack, Erdogan, the demon. It was fine. The ending is a little dark. We find out something about one of the characters, about two characters in particular, husband and wife. You find out something about the husband that kind of makes the hairs on your neck stand up. You're like, oh, like that. It was good. It was good. I liked it. I liked it for what it was. It wasn't great. It was a good filler piece. Sorry, I don't have these memorized, so I keep going. Then we have Superman by Mags Visaggio. Obviously, this is the one. Now, I want you to just, if this is 8 pages, I want you to guess what three of the pages, not three, but I think it's two of the pages are devoted to. And just put it in your mind, what are they devoted to? All right, now answer. Did you guess eating? Because eating is correct. It's not a joke that all these SJW writers constantly have to be, like, there's constantly scenes of them just eating. Mags Visaggio obviously doesn't understand Superman. She definitely doesn't understand comic book writing in general. She doesn't tell a story. It's just a series of things happen, and that's it. And then by the end of it, I think she wanted to leave off on this kind of like, ooh, spooky cliffhanger, but it just came out really just trite in the end. It was the weakest one. The art was fairly good. I will give it that. The art was fairly good, but Mags is just flat out not a good writer. Then we have Green Arrow, and we got Michael Morecci. This one was actually really interesting because this was another one of kind of those introspective ones because it's Green Arrow essentially fighting the personification of himself, the personification of his self-doubts. I never liked Green Arrow that much, but Green Arrow is one of those characters where he's too similar to Batman in my opinion. But they do have one stark difference. Batman knows he's the best. Green Arrow is constantly dealing with this crippling self-doubt and this insecurity that he's not Batman. He's just this rich boy who's really good at shooting arrows, who's training his body. He's never going to be as good as Batman. And that really, really, really came out in this issue. And I thought it was very interesting. It was very well done. I was really surprised because I don't like Green Arrow stuff in general. Even in the Rebirth books, I loved the first arc where they were dealing with the banking conglomerate. And then I just hated the rest of the series. But this one was very good. Very well done. I was really surprised. Then we got Black Lightning Katana. It's written by Brian Hill. The art's really good too. Oh, the art, you'll notice the art in general is really good. But Brian Hill gets Black Lightning. He really gets him. Black Lightning is always cool. And even Katana I mean, they both save the day. But Katana, it takes place in Japan, so obviously Katana knows. They deal with a Japanese demon who steals children. Very, very, very good art on that. The demon actually looked really, really creepy. And of course, because it's kind of exotic, so we're not used to demons looking like that. But it was very well done. And Black Lightning was just always cool. He was never emasculated by Katana. He was always like, he was just cool. And Brian Hill gets it. The story itself was very simple. And I think that's something that Brian Hill's really good at. He's really good at telling simple stories in a very, very good way. And that was it. And it was good. It was really, really good. Brian Hill, obviously, I don't know if he's still going to do it, but I think he's retiring from comics temporarily to work on some TV shows or movies. I'm really hoping that's not true. I hope he comes back. He's one of those writers. Benedetti's another one, but Brian Hill's another one of those writers who I will read anything he does. I actually have ordered Killmonger coming in. I'm going to check that out because that's one of the things I regret not buying. And we have Robin and Solomon Grundy, and this was this was one of those ones that the last two stories kind of end on an upbeat, and this was really cute. That's all I can say. It was really cute. The art was once again very good. Professor Pig is the villain in this. Solomon Grundy is kind of taking care. He has a kind of a mutual relationship where he takes care of these three runaways. They take care of him. They feed him, and he protects them in response for that. And he has them for companionship. And Professor Pig kidnaps them. Professor Pig was written. I can't tell if it was biting sarcasm or if it was just a kind of on the nose agenda driven. I took it as biting sarcasm, and I really appreciated it. I thought it was really funny, but not funny in like a cheesy way. It was actually like, oh, this is kind of cool actually. So Robin comes in. Robin does his thing. Grundy does his thing. Whatever. It was good. It was very good. We also got to see a little bit of how Grundy sees the world, which was really interesting. The first, because Grundy says what happens to him. You don't realize it's Professor Pig at first. You find out by like page 4, so it's not like really ruining anything. But he sees this like demon with this kind of piggish face, and if you're like really versed in the lore, you can kind of figure out who it was. But I was reading, I was like, who the fuck is this? Oh, I said I wasn't gonna curse. Who is this? Who is it? And then by the end, I was like, is it Pig? And I turned it, and it was him. I was like, oh, okay, all right. But it was really cool just seeing how Grundy sees the world. It's interesting. Last one is Zatanna, and this is just the storyline is this older brother and his younger sister are going on like this like a haunted hayride, and the older brother is tormenting the younger sister, and he's like scaring the hell out of her, and he plans to scare the hell out of her on this haunted hayride, and Zatanna goes and stops it. But we have this really interesting 2 or 3, I think it's 2 pages of Zatanna with her father, and they're discussing like magic and kind of their responsibilities, and you see kind of this immature Zatanna, and her father doesn't chastise her, but he's trying to teach her that just because they're in like this small podunk town doesn't mean that it's worse than being in Vegas. And it's really interesting just seeing kind of how Zatanna comes to terms like, you know what, my father's right. I can still do good even in this small town, and she does that by helping out this younger sister. And it's just this. It's a cutesy little story. It's not great, but it ends the anthology on kind of this high note where you're happy to have read it. And I think that was whoever edited this entire book and decided the order did a very, very good job at making sure, because you end with you start off with these really like kind of downer stories, and you end with Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, Robin and Solomon Grundy, and Zatanna, and they all end on progressively higher and higher notes. And I think that was a fantastic job. It was a great way to end it, and it was just really well done. I love these anthology issues. I would definitely pick this up. It's definitely worth the read. 9 out of 10 of these stories are good, at the very least. I would say 4 of them are really good, and 4 of them are definitely worth. They're definitely worth the price of admission for this story. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Did you guys pick this up? Do you guys like these anthology books? I really think that that DC should be doing more of these. Marvel has, like I said, with their Halloween special, they need to work out some of the kinks that they have with this. But I do think, I think 3 videos ago, I said that comics are really good for short form storytelling. And I think this really exemplifies what I was trying to talk about. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me at Trajan Channel, and I will catch you guys later. This is kind of fake news. This doesn't happen. It's just a portfolio piece.